Hello everyone, and welcome to our first ever and hopefully last online fall semester concert. My name is Ben Lugenbuehl and I am the Director of Choirs at Normal Community High School, and I'm really glad to have you with us for this performance. This concert will feature two of our 5 choirs, the Chorale and the Mixed Chorale. Thankfully, we were able to get this concert in on the last day we were allowed to be at school before the latest shutdown occurred. Unfortunately, we weren't able to record the baritone choir and treble choir for this performance, even though they had music learned and ready to go. We'll get them in as soon as we can. And our chamber singers are working feverishly on their madrigal dinner music. We hope to record those pieces before the end of the December. Regardless, we'll have something to you and for you to see before we leave for break in December. The groups you'll see in this video came together for a 45-minute session, having never sung as a whole group before this year. We had students who had sung together in our hybrid scheduled choirs, and the fully remote students are singing with others for the first time this year. Plus, each choir had several students missing. One thing to note, it's extremely challenging to sing through a mask with 6 feet of distance surrounding you. It can be a very intimidating experience. We chose the back half of the auditorium as our recording location, as it had the best possible acoustics we could find in the building. I'm very proud of our students for the work they have done and for overcoming some of their fears to be able to put on these presentations in such challenging circumstances. I want to especially thank Mrs. Jolyn Robinson, retired choir director from NCHS, for being our accompanist, Mrs. Sarah Williams from Normal West Choirs for checking students in and playing the tambourine in the first piece for Corral, Mrs. Julia Beer from Chittix and Evans Choirs, and Mrs. Kimberly Martin Boyd from Normal West Orchestra for helping get students checked in our second performance group. And finally, to Mr. Jeff Christofferson, an NCHS science teacher, for filming the choirs. Thank you so much to all of you for giving your time to help make this concert happen. And now on with the show. Our first piece from Corral is titled "And Miriam Sang" by Zebulon Heiben. In Exodus 15:21 from the Bible, Miriam and the women of Israel sing and dance following Israel's deliverance from Egypt through the Red Sea. "And Miriam Sang" is inspired by what such a celebration might have sounded like. Exodus 15:19-21 reads, "When the horses of Pharaoh with his chariots and his chariot drivers went into the sea, the Lord brought back the waters of the sea upon them. But the Israelites walked through the sea on dry ground. Then the prophet Miriam, Aaron's sister, took a tambourine in her hand, and all the women went out after her with tambourines and with dancing. And Miriam sang to them, 'Shiru la'Adonai, ki ga'o ga'a, sus v'rakava ramavayam.' Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. Horse and rider he has thrown into the sea." Please enjoy "And Miriam Sang," performed by the NCHS Chorale. Our second piece from Corral is titled No One is Alone and is taken from Stephen Sondheim's musical Into the Woods. I chose this piece for the choir to remind them that during this high time of stress, anxiety, and fear, we are not alone. Our final piece for Corral, titled And Ain't I a Woman, features the words of Sojourner Truth, a remarkable woman with an amazing story of surviving slavery, speaking as a missionary in the Deep South, and as an outspoken abolition and women's rights movements leader of the 19th century. I couldn't think of a more fitting year to sing this piece, it being the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage, as well as the election of the first female vice president of the United States. The lyrics of this piece were taken directly from a speech Sojourner gave at a women's rights convention in Ohio in 1851. If you'd like to read the entire speech, you'll find a link in the video details. Please enjoy Corral's final piece, And Ain't I a Woman? Next up is the mixed chorale, and their pieces don't need as much of an introduction as the chorale pieces do. I'll admit that the first song, Don't Get Around Much Anymore, was chosen as much for the title alone as it was for learning about jazz singing, considering we've all been home for a while. The second piece, Prelude to Peace, is a beautiful setting of Sarah Teasdale's poetry by a popular choral composer, Z. Randall Stroop. Finally, we finish with River in Judea. This piece has really spoken to me as we have navigated both remote and hybrid learning. This song has spiritual underpinnings, but also just gives me hope that we will soon be able to all be back in the classroom and the concert hall singing together. I hope you enjoy the NCHS Mixed Chorale.
Visit the you.